Hi, Sam Ogazalik at Politico. Thanks for taking our questions. Just a two-part one. To follow up, you mentioned that to the best of your knowledge, majority of families have filed the claim forms of the federal government. Of the families of the 60 passengers in total, do you have an actual number or approximate number of how many lawsuits you expect to be filed in total?
Well, the lawyers, the lawyers for all of the families, I'm pretty sure we know the identity of all the lawyers on behalf of all the families, of all 67 families. Obviously the family passengers, the 60 passengers, all of those lawyers have been working together to, we've compared notes. Down the line, once the case is up and running before the judge, it will be likely that a committee, a formal committee of the court will be formed. It would be called a plaintiff's steering committee or plaintiff's executive committee. And that committee will be empowered to engage in the discovery works, the depositions and the record requests. They're not going to say to, 10 lawyers, 15 lawyers who represent all these people, we're going to let 15 different deposition notices going to go out. We're going to force you to work together because why and how the crash occurred is common to each and every one of you. So let's have a committee appointed. That committee can work on behalf of all the families, and then the court will separately and distinctly, independently analyze the damages for the families, individual family.
So it sounds like, do you expect at least 60 total separate lawsuits?
Well, sure. I mean, if you look, in the crash of ET302, 157 people died. There were 13 families who, in direct dealing with Boeing before any lawsuit was filed, settled those cases on their own, as they have the right to do, by the way, with counsel. And then 144 cases were filed. Here, one of the interesting things here is, and this is all informal chatter, of course, between lawyers, but thus far, the only message we've received from American Airlines and their lawyers and their insurers is, this is not our problem. We didn't cause this crash. This helicopter ran into our airplane. Why are you even talking to us? Well, that just isn't the fact of what we will prove. We will show their responsibility. And if they were really being forthright with these families about what they really think, well, then maybe they can explain why it is that it's publicly reported that over in London they drew down massive reserves to cover for the claims that they expected from the families. So here, I don't expect the airlines or the government to talk to the families individually ahead of time to maybe settle a case so that instead of 60 lawsuits, you got 50. We don't predict that happening. There will, in all likelihood, be 60 lawsuits filed for these passenger families. And then finally, ultimately, the court will require that the families and the defendants at least explore resolution through a process called mediation. And not that anyone will ever force a family to accept a lawsuit or a settlement, but they will at least force you to talk about it, because we only have so many judges, so many juries, so many courtrooms, and if families can get together and resolve their differences, then that's what they have the right to do as well.
And then